Message from Sunnahfollowers. This is from Sheikh Saleh. We need to unite. Sisters, wear your hijab. Wear your beards. Be proud of your beards. Stay home, stay home, stay in your home. Stand up, unite, and stand for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
That's right, Saleh. We all should stand up in solidarity, not transgressing the limits of Allah, but standing together with patience and understanding. This is Sunnahfollowers.
With dignity, humility, and balance.
If you want to learn about how to balance and maintain your faith every day, you need to be here at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, being taught by Laila Nasheeba, streaming on all major platforms. Channel Sunnahfollowers. Hope to see you there, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum. This is Yusuf and this is Ayub. And if you are benefiting like we are from the classes and the ongoing programming and tuning into the Sunnahfollowers, please donate. Let this be an ongoing sadaqah jariyah on your behalf. You're helping the kids, the conference, and everyone seeking knowledge. And it's a wealth of information every day you tune in. Don't forget, you are being rewarded for your generous donations to keep this programming on air. You know, just like what you're hearing, put your dollar where the dollar's at. Right here on Sunnahfollowers. Don't forget, donate. Right here to Sunnahfollowers and dollars out. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Listen, we are in dire need of donations to keep these shows running and available for you 24/7. So that means when you're in the car, it's available for you to listen to. Whether you're at work, streaming, playing a game, it's available for you to listen to. Rowing your deed and learning about the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful different topics of Islam. Listen, one of the heaviest deeds that could be placed on your scale on the Day of Judgment is sadaqah jariyah. Yes, I know, I'm trying to build deeds daily. So you can too. So listen, feel free and please, from the bottom of your heart, donate to this wonderful cause, wonderful website and platform to continually push out shows that will benefit you and the Muslim Ummah. Yes, you can donate by going to the Sunnahfollowers.net website, pressing the donate tab. You can also scan the QR code in YouTube on the far left top of our videos that are streaming. Listen guys, this is very important and take this as important. We want to keep this programming available for you 24/7 so that you have access in your car, anywhere you choose to tune in to this wonderful programming. Yes, guys, it's all at your disposal. So listen, feel free to donate. Once again, remember, sadaqah jariyah, one of the heaviest deeds on your scale on the Day of Judgment. Sunnahfollowers presents a new hadith class taught by Ustada Laila Nasheeba, Riyadus Salihin, every Monday and Wednesday nights at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Hope to see you there. Streaming on all major platforms. Channel Sunnahfollowers. Woke. There are so many things going on. Oh yeah, and don't forget to join us in the 24-hour Zoom room for behind-the-scenes access.
The Mukasa Tafsir.
Where should I begin when I'm starting at the end, pursuing the higher aim, learning the meaning of every page? Where should I begin when I'm starting at the end? Another addition to your Islamic education. Thought-provoking.
Healing and Governance, The Transformative Path of Sabr as-Tiwal, written by Dr. Karim Abuzaid. Join Laila Nasheeba every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9:30 p.m., streaming all major platforms, channel Sunnahfollowers. Tell me about the soul. When death comes, what will follow? What will be revealed when you go? It's a question that we all must know. Do you know about the soul? Assalamu alaikum. A brand new upcoming class on the book by Sheikh Karim Abuzaid, The Souls of the Dead, being taught by Ustada Laila Nasheeba. Yes, right here, every Saturday and Sunday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. You are not going to want to miss this. Join us. Streaming on all major platforms. Channel Sunnahfollowers. Every believer must know. You will make it through. The fitra is awaken you. With Quran and Sunnah by your side, here's a place where it will thrive. You will make it through. You will make it through. The fitra is awaken you. With Quran and Sunnah on your side, here's a place where it will thrive. You will make it through. With Quran and Sunnah on your side, here's a place where it will thrive. You will make it through.
In alhamdulillah, wa salat, wa salam ala wa rasulullah. I'd like to welcome everybody to our Aqidah class. And this is our class that's based on the book written by Dr. Karim Abuzaid entitled Diluting al-Wala wal-Bara, Volume 2. And Volume 2 of this masterpiece of a series takes us on the journey of awakening the fitra of our hearts. And a lot of people, a lot of Muslims are not aware of what the fitra of the heart is. If I were to ask the average Muslim what the fitra of the heart is, they think that the fitra is based on the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, wherein the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam speaks about how every child comes into this world is born upon the fitra, and it's the parents that shapes the child either into a Christian or a pagan. And based on that hadith, the average Muslim interprets that hadith to mean that every child is born worshiping and believing in Allah. That's not what that hadith means. That is not what the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam meant. That is not what the fitra is. Okay? That's not true. As Allah says, twice did He create us. Twice did He create us. The fitra is a little piece, a sliver of light that resides in the heart of the human being. And that sliver of light appears in the heart of the human being when the soul is blown into the mother's womb. Okay? It detaches, that sliver of light detaches from the soul, and it embeds within the heart, and it's seeking the truth, and it is seeking submittance to Allah. That's what the fitra is. It's a sliver of light that detached from the soul. And when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said every human being comes into the world, is born upon the fitra, what he meant is every human being comes into the world born seeking the truth. Every human being is not born worshiping Allah and believing in Allah. That's not true. Okay? Every human being comes into the world with the fitra, seeking the truth, seeking submittance to the will of Allah. But the parent will raise it to where either its fitra is dimmed and it doesn't seek the truth, or its fitra is ignited and it does seek that truth, and it does end up growing up, finding submittance to Allah's will. That's what the Prophet meant. Because originally, before the soul was blown into the womb of your mother, the soul was created millions of years ago. My soul, your soul, all of our souls were created right after Allah created Adam. He ran his hand across Adam's back, and all of our souls appeared. My soul, your soul, all the souls of mankind. And then he gathered us all together at Arafat. And we all testified to La ilaha illallah. And then Allah offered us the gift that he offered to the mountains, to the sun, to the moon, to the animals, and they all refused it because they knew the severity of accepting that gift. But we, out of our ignorance, we took it on. We agreed to accept it. And that was the gift of free will. And with that gift came accountability, consequences. And then Allah kept our souls wherever he keeps the souls at with him. And he kept our souls there until your mother, my mother, became pregnant. And that's when Allah told the angel who's assigned to the souls to take your soul, to take my soul, and blow it into our mother's womb. And that's when that sliver of light, known as the fitra, detached from the soul and embarked into the heart. So we were born upon the fitra. We don't remember our lives up there with Allah. We don't remember the angels. We don't remember Adam. We don't remember nothing that we did up there. We don't remember the people we met up there. We're going to talk about that in our new class that's going to begin today at 9:30. Sometimes in this world, we may come upon a person and we may experience deja vu. Could it be that you and me met in another life? I might come upon Amina Antar, and it's like, wow, it's like I've known you somewhere else. It's like deja vu. Could it be? Perhaps we were friends wherever Allah keeps the souls. That happens, okay? But we don't remember our lives up there. But the fitra is trying to find its way back up there. Back up there. Find its way back to Allah. It's seeking the truth. It's seeking submittance to Allah's will. That's what the fitra is. So we're not born worshiping Allah. Have you ever seen a baby come out worshiping Allah? Have any of you ever seen a baby pray? Have you ever seen a baby fast? We have to learn everything all over again. We're born deaf, dumb, and blind. We come in this world deaf, dumb, and blind. We have to learn everything. We're nothing like we were up there. That's why you're not a revert. When you people call yourselves reverts, that's the wrong term. You're not reverting back to anything, because nothing in this world resembles anything in the hereafter. You're nothing like you were up there. You don't even look like you did up there. You didn't have this body up there. Okay? You're nothing like you were up there. You were a soul. Okay? Now you have a body and a soul. Okay? You're a convert. The word convert means to adapt a new lifestyle, a new identity, a new way of living. You convert to Islam. You don't revert back to your original substance. If we would use the right terminology, then maybe when you convert to Islam, you can let go of your bad habits, which is today's topic. You know, if we would call ourselves what we really are, which are converts, then when you declare La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah, you'd be able to embrace this new way of life, because you're not reverting back to how you were before you came here. Because Allah says nothing in this world will ever resemble anything up there, even if it has the same name. Your soul here is nothing like how your soul was there. Your soul up there was in submission to Allah. Your fitra was attached to your soul. Your fitra is not attached to your soul in this world. It's attached to your heart. Do you people get it? You are not a revert. You are a convert to Islam. That's why you can't let go of them cigarettes. That's why you can't let go of the drugs. That's why you can't stop having sex out of wedlock. That's why you brothers can't stop picking up women off the internet, having relationships with them. You're not supposed to talk to women on the internet unless they are your wife. We don't have friendships with women who we are not married to. When will you brothers understand that? When will you sisters understand that there are no male and female relationships outside of marriage? We don't have friendships with men. unless it's a doctor-patient relationship. Unless there's a business relationship, when will you sisters understand there's no friendships with the opposite sex? I don't care if he calls himself the king of Saudi Arabia. He cannot call you on the telephone and talk with you as friends. This is haram. This is adultery. This is fornication. If he's not your husband or your close family member, you are committing zina. Do you new shahadas understand that? Do you old shahadas understand that? I don't care if he calls himself the Grand Mufti of planet Earth, Saturn, and Jupiter. He cannot call you up on the phone and say, I am the Grand Mufti of planet Earth, Saturn, and Jupiter. And I just want to talk. What's up, sister? How you doing? Let's sit down and talk. We don't have those type of relationships. You are committing zina. He's not your husband. He's not your brother. He's not your father. If you would stop calling yourself a revert, you wouldn't do that. You are a convert. You have adapted a new lifestyle, a new ideology, a new identity, a new way of living. So you have to let go of the past way of living, the past way of thinking. Let your fitra awaken. And that's the problem. We have not awakened our fitra. We have not allowed the fitra within our heart to awaken, people, because we're still filled with what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said is jahiliyyah, which is pre-Islamic ignorance. We are filled with pre-Islamic ignorance. Let go of that pre-Islamic ignorance. Non-Muslims have girlfriends. Non-Muslims interact with women and men who are not married. And they fornicate, they adulterate, they violate Allah's 10 commandments. You have embarked upon a new lifestyle, a new way of thinking, a new way of living. Let the fitra awaken within you. Embrace that total eclipse of the heart. Do you people get what I'm saying? Am I making sense here, people?
Yes, you are.
Okay, that's the problem. All right, so this is where we are in our studies today. The awakening of the fitra. Start with the correct terminology, and then we can embrace it. Let your fitra awaken. And yesterday we spoke about how oftentimes it takes something dramatic or traumatic to happen in our personal life for that awakening to occur. Different things. And so today what I'm going to do is just speak about 2 or 3 different things that may occur in our personal lives that can bring about an awakening. I want to break them down. And let me put the PowerPoint up on the screen. And again, for those of you who are on this program here that I am pointing to, please open up a tab on your cell phone to YouTube and go to my channel, Sunnahfollowers. The name is at the top of this program here. It's all one name. Type Sunnahfollowers and then click on my live stream And that will take you, you go to type Sunnahfollowers, which will take you to my channel. Okay, hold on. No, I didn't restart this computer here. Oh, let me cut this off. I didn't restart this computer. Okay, this other one. And let me cut this off. I didn't restart this one. Yeah, open up a tab on your cell phone and go to my live stream, my channel Sunnahfollowers, and click on the live stream tab, and that'll take you to the live stream. And that way, let me click on the live stream tab. Okay. And that way you'll be able to see the PowerPoint I'm getting ready to show for everybody now. I didn't restart. What is this? Okay. Oh, okay. Hold on for a second, guys. I didn't reboot. Hold on. Y'all didn't tell me I didn't reboot the computer here. I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me fix this. Let me put the PowerPoint up. Okay, here it is. I got it now. Okay, inshallah, you guys should be able to see my top PowerPoint now. Hey, I didn't know I didn't reboot the computer in my Zoom room. Okay, everybody should be able to see the PowerPoint now. We're going to be covering pages 82 through 88 of the book. Yesterday, we spoke about how different things happen in our lives because we're all different people that can trigger an awakening of the fitra, because we're not born worshiping Allah. We have to learn how to worship Allah all over again. We're not even born believing in Allah. You know, your parents make you either a believer or a kafir. Okay? We have to learn that all over again when we come in this world. That's why you're not a revert, you're a convert. And for those of us who come into this world and our parents are Muslim and teach us, you don't even know, your parents may be teaching you incorrectly. So even then, our fitra may not even be awakened. Because nowadays, especially, most Muslims, the parents are not upon a correct belief system. Our parents can be teaching us like Elijah Muhammad. Elijah Muhammad wasn't Muslim. Those people who followed Elijah Muhammad, I'm sorry, you weren't Muslim. Elijah Muhammad did not believe La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. So if you grew up under the Nation of Islam, your fitra was not awakened. I'm sorry. Your fitra was not awakened. You have to learn all over again. You had to learn La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah from the people of the Sunnah, because he didn't teach that. Elijah Muhammad did not teach La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. He taught that he was the Prophet Muhammad. He did not teach that there was one God and that God was Allah and that Allah was worthy of worship. He didn't teach that. So you may come into a family that claims to be Muslim and they're really not. And they're teaching you something other than Siratul Mustaqim. So again, you know, we don't come in this world born upon the truth. We come in the world upon the fitra, which is searching for the truth and searching for submittance to the will of Allah. So we're going to talk about what triggers the awakening. And before we get into some of the triggers, I have one question from yesterday. Yesterday, we spoke about how Allah surrounds us with many wake-up signs. There's many wake-up signs that a person may experience in their life that may indicate that they need to change themselves. What are some wake-up signs that a person may experience in their personal life that may indicate that they need to change the condition of themselves? Who can tell me, what are some of the wake-up signs that you may experience in your personal life that may indicate that you need to change yourself? Come on, this is an easy question. You can come up with a bunch of things.
One of them is a near-death experience.
Oh, good. Exactly. You can have a near-death experience. Something can happen to you in your personal life. It could be a near-death experience that can give you a wake up that you need to change the condition of yourself. What else? What else? What's another wake up sign that can cause you? Go ahead.
Sorry, the purpose of your life or your existence, what you're here for, becomes more apparent or clear to you.
Exactly. Something can happen in your life that can cause you to realize, hey, you know, I'm not fulfilling my purpose. You know, there's got to be something better than this. They know that, you know, my purpose is not this. You know, I have to have a better purpose than this. You know, I wasn't created just for this. It's got to be a better purpose than this. What else? What's another wake up sign that you may experience in your life that can be indicative? Go ahead.
The fear of failure.
Okay, exactly. You can something can happen that can cause you to fear failure. That, you know, hey, you know, I can't. What type of failures? Like, you know, I can just feel a fear of failure of what? Like, give them an example.
I want to be a nurse, and yet I'm scared to death. I don't think I can do it.
Yeah,
I just fear that.
Yeah, you can just fear failure of everything. You know, that I'm not going to succeed in nothing.
Yeah.
You know, good job, Sakina. Feeling of discontentment with your lifestyle. Very good. How many of us go through that? You're just not happy. You know, a lot of us just wake up every day and it's the same routine. I'm just not happy. My lifestyle is just, something's just not clicking, and my relationships, good job. My relationships are just not happy. I'm not happy in my marriage. I ain't happy with my kids. I ain't happy with my relationship with my friends. I'm not happy with nothing here. Nothing. You realize that there's no contentment with anything in your life, your job, nothing. You take things too lightly. Good job. You realize that you don't take nothing serious, that everything is a joke to you in life. Everything is a game. You know, so there's different wake up signs. You put off. Good job. You procrastinate. You realize that, you know, that you just procrastinate. You keep switching jobs. Good job. You switch jobs. You drop out of school. You never follow through with anything. You never complete nothing. Good job. Many of you have been there. So there's different wake up signs that Allah sends to us that may be indicative that we need to change ourselves. We need to do some self-evaluation. Something's wrong. There's something wrong with us. And these wake-up signs can also serve as a trigger that can really cause that fitra to awaken in our heart. And that's what I want to go into detail about today. What are some of the triggers that can awaken that fitra? Well, the number one is hardship. I hate to say it, but something bad. It usually, for most of us, many of us, it takes something bad happening in our lives. I hate to say it, but it's the truth. For most of us, it takes something bad happening to trigger our awakening of the heart. So many of us find the inner light blocked within our hearts. But when faced with a calamity, that's when that light will awaken. Challenges, calamities, those are the most powerful triggers of the heart. Because when we face a hardship, that's what really will cause us to reevaluate our belief. It'll cause us to reevaluate our values and our priorities. Those challenges, they can serve as a big wake-up call, which can lead to a deep search for meaning and purpose in life. Okay? These type of experiences have the potential to jolt a person out of their heedlessness and awaken, that light. And when we look at the Quran and when we look at the Hadiths, we come across several instances that support the idea of the fitra being ignited during two special circumstances. The first circumstance occurs when a person finds themselves in a state of powerlessness and helplessness. They're facing a very, very distressing situation that's beyond their control. During these type of moments, that's when the person realizes how limited they are. And they then realize that they have no choice but to call upon a higher power for help and relief. And look at this verse. Allah says in the interpretation of the meaning, it is He who enables you to travel on land and sea until when you are in your ship and they sail with them by a good wind, and then you rejoice. Then there comes a storm and the waves come to you from everywhere. And when you think that you are overcome by death, then you call upon Allah sincerely. If you should save us from this, then we will surely be among the thankful. That's when people really awaken their light in their heart. Imagine that you on an ocean, you on a cruise ship partying, and then all like the Titanic, and all of a sudden the Titanic is sinking. Oh my God. Imagine how many hearts went through that total eclipse then, calling upon Allah for help then. Subhanallah. So this verse here captures the scene where people are sailing on a sea, rejoicing, and then the storm comes, the wave surrounds them. And this critical moment, their helplessness becomes evident. So they turn to Allah, begging, seeking His salvation, and expressing gratitude, for His intervention. We can imagine that with the Titanic. So that verse highlights the human tendency to turn to Allah when faced with dire circumstances like that, because then they recognize that He is the ultimate source of deliverance and relief. That's what happened with Pharaoh too. But Pharaoh wasn't sincere. When he saw the Red Sea about to swallow him, that's when he looked up and said, Moses, God is my God. But Allah knew that he only said it to save his life, not because he was sincere. And that's why Allah didn't accept his repentance, because He knew he was just doing it to save his life. So usually it takes something dramatic like that, to shake a person's heart. But if a person is sincere, Allah will accept it. He'll accept it, and He'll allow that eclipse to occur. So that verse serves as a reminder of the human tendency to forget the favors and blessings of Allah until something tragic happens like that. And unfortunately, guys, that's the number one trigger for most of us to have that awakening. Okay? Another trigger of the awakening of the fitra is crisis, when a crisis occurs. And Allah speaks about this in the Quran too, okay? When people are faced with a crisis in life, for example, a health crisis, you go to the doctor and you're diagnosed with cancer. You're told that you only got 3 months to live, a life-threatening disease. That can often shake a person's sense of mortality and purpose. And that usually leads to a deeper spiritual connection. And I'm sure you guys know people who went to the doctor and were told that they only had 3 months to live. And that shook them, brought them to their knees. So they end up changing. They changed their lifestyle to the point where, guess what? They become good Muslims. They start praying. They start giving in charity. They make such a great change and become such better people that after 3 months, they go back to the doctor and the doctor say, guess what? The results have changed. Now we give you 3 years. Allah is so pleased with the person because the person has made such a great change that Allah has extended his life. And then after 3 years, guess what? Your cancer cells have gone away. Allah takes the cancer away. That happens so much nowadays. Women diagnosed with breast cancer and it goes away. Ovarian cancer goes away. It happens all the time now. Okay? Usually something like that to shake a person, to open up their fitra, and the people change for the better. Another crisis, losing a loved one. A lot of Muslims don't practice the religion, don't wear hijab, don't pray. But then someone close to them dies, their son, their daughter. They lose the apple of their eye, their favorite child, their only child dies. This can propel a person on a spiritual journey and understanding about the meaning of life and afterlife. So they end up changing and practicing the deen, and they become a better, stronger Muslim. Then they end up remarrying, and they end up having 2, 3, 4 other children. Good Muslims. So usually losing a loved one, that's something that can shake a person's heart to the point where they straighten up and change the condition of themselves to something better. Also, collective disasters like an earthquake, a hurricane, that too can inspire thoughts of a greater purpose of life and cause people to wake up their fitra and change for the better. Also, crises such as financial hardships, losing your job, being on top of the world, making $100,000 a year, and all of a sudden you get laid off, and now you got to go to a measly job making $30,000. I know people like that. Used to be engineers making over $100,000 a year, but they were so selfish, so greedy, wouldn't help their relatives, wouldn't help nobody, was stingy and selfish. So Allah slapped them down to a $20,000 a year job, and they were engineers. And then look at them. It humbled them. It made them more humble. So financial hardships can awaken the fitra of your heart. Also, overcoming addictions like drugs, alcohol, gambling, sex addictions, pornography. This stuff can transform a person's inner strength and cause their fitra to awaken. Also, trauma survivors, losing an arm, losing your legs, losing your eyes. Look how many people, lost their body parts or went through physical trauma. And they were bad people. Then after that trauma, they become good people. So things like this can trigger the fitra, because remember, we come into this world, the fitra is seeking the truth. The fitra is seeking submission to Allah's will. The fitra is trying to find its way back to where it came from. Find its way back to Allah. Okay? So That's one of the biggest triggers, to awaken the heart, hardships. Okay? And a lot of people, their hearts awaken through spiritual fulfillment. How many of you have heard people say, I'm just seeking to get close to the Creator? So, in the quest for personal transformation and spiritual growth, the awakening of the inner light of the fitra is a very deep journey. This is how our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam awakened his. Remember, before he received the call to prophethood, what did he do? He did the same thing that Prophet David alayhi salam used to do. The same thing that Prophet Moses alayhi salam used to do. The same thing that Prophet Abraham used to do. He used to seek solitude. He used to go to the cave and seek the cave of Hira and seek solitude and contemplate. Think about, Allah, even Khadija, radiallahu anha, she never worshiped idols. She used to go out into the desert and sit alone on top of the mountains and look up at the sky and think about the oneness of Allah. Abu Bakr, he never worshiped idols either. He used to do that. There's a lot of people who crave for spiritual fulfillment. I remember when I was a kid, I used to do that. I remember being 6 years old. I used to pretend I was galloping on a horse. I used to go and run and pretend I was on a horse, and I'd go sit on what we call the willow walls. I would sit on the willow walls and pretend I was talking to the angels. I would sit there and look up at the sky, and I would talk to the angels. My mother used to say, who you talking to? You never shut your mouth, because I was always a talker. My mother said I came out the womb running my mouth. To this day, she says, you come out the womb, Laila, you never shut up. And I used to say, I'm talking to the angels. She would tell me, get your butt in this house. Who you talking to? And I used to say, I'm talking to the angels. I would sit on the willow walls and talk to the angels, look up at the sky and talk to the angels. A lot of people reach that awakening just through craving spiritual fulfillment. This inner conflict between transient pleasures and the search for deeper meaning, it kindles a spark of curiosity and longing within a person, and it propels them towards a transformative path of self-discovery. I remember I was a crazy kid. I used to say, I'm going to be an angel. I'm going to be an angel. My mother used to say, you are crazy. And shut up. She used to always tell me, shut up. Because I never shut up. Okay? Also, the awakening trigger, how does it begin? Spiritually. The awakening trigger begins with a potent spiritual craving. You become torn between indulging in the pleasures of this world and seeking something deeper and more meaningful. The allure of material desires pulls you in one direction, while a yearning for spiritual growth calls you towards another. And it becomes an internal conflict. And it becomes a pivotal moment. It serves as a wake-up call to the need for a higher purpose. And I can relate to that, because that spiritual craving and that inner conflict was always my conflict. Okay? That curiosity. You want to know the deeper meaning in life. It ain't about money. I've never been about money. Money ain't nothing. It's something deeper than that. You have a thirst for understanding. You're driven by that thirst for understanding. You want to seek spiritual fulfillment. So you go on a journey of exploration. You immerse yourself in knowledge Knowledge. It's all about knowledge. You learn about the prophets. You learn what made them tick. Then you learn about the companions of the Prophet Muhammad, what made them tick. You engage in religious practices, seeking fulfillment there. This curiosity becomes integral in your awakening journey as you strive to connect with a higher truth that ain't based on money. It's not based on material fulfillment. It's based on spirituality. That's where I am. That's how I've always been all my life. Okay? That's my trigger. Okay? Also, a lot of people awaken and trigger their future just through the quest of self-discovery, always wanting to improve themselves. Okay? It's a personal quest for the truth, a personal quest for self-discovery. These type of people explore the depths of their inner selves. They deal with questions about what's their purpose. These are people that like to meditate. These are people who like solitude. These are people who allow themselves to access their innermost thoughts, their innermost emotions. I imagine this being somebody like Dr. McBride. These are people who gain transformative insights that lead them to spiritual growth and to a deeper understanding of themselves. These are people who deal with their feelings. If they find themselves experiencing feelings of inner emptiness or dissatisfaction or unfulfillment, they work to change that. When they see that something is missing, they seek more deeper meaning and purpose within themselves. These are people that yearn to explore something better, to keep themselves changing, to improve themselves, to get closer to Allah. These are people that strive and embark on the journey of self-discovery. This is probably somebody like Dr. McBride. I imagine him, the brain doctor, being a person that's on the quest for truth and self-discovery. That's probably how he keeps his inner light awakened and thriving. So these are some of the things that can trigger a person's fitra within them. And tomorrow, I'm going to go over 3 more instances that can trigger a person's fitra. So are there any questions or comments about what we've covered today? Questions or comments? And by the way, tonight, we will begin chapter 1 of the new book written by Dr. Karim Abuzaid entitled The Soul. It's going to go hand in hand with this because we're going to talk about the souls of the dead. We're going to answer the question, when a person dies, do they remember? Do they remember? Now remember, when Allah has our soul blown into the womb of our mother, we don't remember nothing that happened up there. We don't remember nothing about our time that we spent up there before Allah had our soul blown. We may have moments of deja vu. I might meet somebody and say, wow, it's like I've known you before. Okay, but we don't remember nothing. The question we're going to answer today is, after we die, we go into El Barzakh. Do we remember anything about what happened here once we die and enter El Barzakh? That's what we're going to deal with in chapter 1 today. So for those of you who have the book, I want you to read the introduction that Karim Abuzaid put together. It talks about what each chapter is about. and then read chapter 1, the part that goes up about do we remember? And that's what we're going to cover tonight in that book. Okay. And of course, you know me, I'm not only going to break it down, but I'll add more to it. I'm going to take you on a journey unlike you ever been before, because there's too many videos out there put out by these brothers in Texas about the dead. And a lot of this, most of the stuff they say is not true. We have to understand that everything in Islam is based on the Quran and the authentic hadith. We can't go around saying things that's not true. Okay, if you can't back it up with authentic Quran and authentic hadith, shut up, because you got the Muslims confused. All right, any questions or comments? And by the way, guys, we got $400 in our account. Thanks to your donations, the bills that came out at the beginning of the month were paid, but you guys know we got more. This is just the 13th. We still got bills to pay. And also, remember, anyone who donates $100 or more, you get to choose whatever topic you want for me to talk about for the Islam Q&A. We don't have a topic for this week. If you got a topic, it could be anything you want: marriage, divorce, child molestation. Hey, we got problems in this ummah. If there's some problems that you want me to address, how does Allah tell us to deal with it? Rape, molestation, abuse, it could be anything, because there is nothing that the Muslims are experiencing in this world today that Allah and the Prophet Muhammad has not told us how to handle. I'll prove it to you. Name it, I can tell you what Allah said to do, or what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to do. If you would have a special topic or issue that you want me to address, anyone who makes $100 donation or more, send me an email with the topic. And if you got questions you want me to address specifically, your questions, I will make it next week's Islam Q&A topic, because we don't have a topic for next week, which is this week, this Friday. We don't have a topic. So please donate to support this dawah effort, guys. You know we are a nonprofit organization. We've been around since 1986. No website's been around longer than us. So that means the information you get in here must be authentic. Allah's kept us around longer than anyone else. And I've been teaching the same thing since 1986. Stuff is all over the internet. It's still on the internet. Okay? Please support this dawah effort. We need your donations. Yeah, so anybody donates $100 or more, pick the topic next week. It could be anything. We'll talk about it based on Quran and Sunnah. Yeah. Yeah. Any questions from the Zoom room? Yes, the souls of the dead. That's tonight at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Okay. Oh, walaikum salam, Amina Antar. Good job. Make sure you're here at 6:30. Mina Antar for the souls class. 6:30, Mina Antar. Your time. Okay, guys, I'm gonna log out. I'll be back at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time for the souls of the dead. Yeah. Okay. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.